All right, guys, are you ready for your last lesson of 6th grade? Woo-hoo! We made it. The most unusual year I've had in all of my years of teaching, but hopefully this prepared you guys for 7th grade. So we're going to do 8.4 lesson. This is all talking about volume. Volume is the length times width times height. I know you've done this before, so this should just be a quick review, and then we're done with 6th grade. This is our last lesson, last section of the book, and then you can take your test over chapter 8. So they have V equals BH. What does that mean? Well, I have some notes here. So just looking at that top part. Volume of rectangular prisms, length times width times height. Rectangular prisms, they're going to be rectangles, and we know how to find the area of a rectangle is length times width. That's going to be your base. So they're just rewriting it as length. Instead of length times width, they're putting it as a B. B times H. Volume is base times height. So here are a couple of examples. They go back to using LWH, but just in case you might see it both ways, whether it's on the STAR test next year, because you won't be taking the STAR test this year, or next year's M-STEP, if we take it next year, I'm assuming we will, or just in 7th grade, or on Prodigy. So, length times width times height. So you're just going to multiply all three numbers that it gives you. So cross cancel if you can. You can't here, so just multiply, reduce if possible. This one you can't even reduce. But remember, since we're multiplying three numbers, our answer is going to be cubed. So cubic meters, that's the little 3 in that corner. So here we have 3 halves times 3 halves times 3 halves. Multiply everything together. You end up with an improper fraction and turn it into a proper fraction, and it's going to be 3 3/8 cubic inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and do 1 and 2 for you that's at the bottom. So here they are. So remember volume. We're just multiplying 3 numbers, and pretty much they're only giving you 3 numbers. So just plug them in and multiply. So 1 times 1 1/3 times 1/2. Well, 1 times anything is just going to be 1. That's not going to change. I'm going to turn this into an improper fraction. 3 4/3 times 1/2. You can just bring that 1 down so you don't forget it. Cross cancel here. 2/3. 2/3 times 1 is still 2/3. And my unit is feet, but it's going to be cubed since I'm multiplying 3 numbers. When we were doing surface area, it was only to the 2nd power squared because we are only multiplying 2 numbers. Alrighty, we could do this with whole numbers, obviously fractions. We could even have decimals in here, so just multiply your 3 numbers. Number 2, we have length times width times height. This is a cube, and all sides are equal on a cube. So I'm just going to go ahead and do 3/4 times 3/4 times 3/4. Can't cross cancel anything. So just multiply across. 3 times 3 times 3, 27. 4 times 4 is 16. And then 16 times 4, be quicker than my calculator. 4, 5, 6 would be 64 yards cubed. And that's it. Pretty easy. Now let's look at the next page. Real life situation of why you would need to find the volume of something. A lot of people might be doing yard work this spring, having either dirt delivered or mulch. I know we're getting mulch delivered to put around our flowers and bushes. So real life situation here, we have 1 cubic foot of dirt weighs about 70 pounds. They're giving us that information. It's not anywhere in the problem. They're telling you that. So keep that in mind. You might want to, well, you can't highlight your book, but key in on that. How many pounds of dirt can the dump truck haul when it is full? So length times width times height. So they have the three numbers. They multiplied them together and they got 646 cubic feet. But it's asking you how many pounds. So you got to go back and convert cubic feet into pounds. They're telling you 1 cubic foot is 70 pounds. So here I want to cancel out my cubic feet. Remember, we did this a lot in our problem of the day several weeks ago. So now I'm left with 646 times 70. 45,220 pounds. That's how much dirt that dump truck can haul when it is full. It's a lot of pounds. You would not want to be standing there and having that dirt get dumped on you. All right, now example 3, finding missing dimensions of a rectangular prism. Here, this is a computer tower. They're telling you the whole volume is 1,792 inches cubed, but we don't know the height. So copy your formula down. Volume equals length times width times height. Plug in what you know, where you know it. This time I know my volume. So that's going to go in for my V. So put that in for your V. Plug in your length. Plug in your width. And you don't know your height. So now this turns into a one-step equation, what we did in chapter 7. I can multiply 16 times 7 to get 112. Now I would have made the fence, circle the number on the variable side. This means to multiply, so you're going to do the opposite, which is divide by 112. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. Use your calculator, divide, and you would get 16. 16 inches would be your height. Now I'm just going to go ahead and do 4 and 5 down here. All right, so here, just some box. I mean, yep, looks like a little safe that's on the bottom of page 377. It's telling me my volume, it's telling me my height, it's telling me my width, but I don't know my length. So I'm going to write down my formula, plug in what I know, where I know it. It's telling me my V is 72, so I'm going to put that under there. I don't know my L, so I'm going to keep it as an L. Make sure it doesn't look like a 1. Give it that little monkey tail. My W, my width is 6 inches, and my height is 2 inches. And now I got to solve for L. So first I need to do this, so that's going to be 12. Bring everything else down. Now it's a one-step equation. Make my fence, circle the number on the variable side. This says times 12. I need to do the opposite to undo that. Use the inverse operation. Divide by 12. Divide by 12. And 72 divided by 12 is 6. So I know my length is 6. I need to squeeze this in. Inches. And that's it. Similar thing for number 5. V equals length times width times height. Plug in what I know, where I know it. I don't know my width, but I do know my volume is 1,375. My length is 20. I don't know my W, so to keep it W, and I know my height is 5.5. I'm just going to convert that into 5.5. 5.5 is the same as 5.5. Oops, I'll come back. That way I can use my calculator here. Now I need to, before I can get rid of these numbers, I need to actually multiply 20 times 5.5. 20 times 5.5 gives me 110. Keep your W, bring everything else straight down. Now I can solve. Make my fence, circle the number on the variable side. Right now this means multiply, so I need to divide. Whatever I do to one side, I must do to the other. Cancels out. I'm left with W. And now I can go 1375 divided by 110. I don't think I divided, did I? 1375 divided by 110. That looks better. 12.5. I think I hit multiply last time. So 12.5 centimeters. Should I put the little 3? No, because I'm only finding the width. Now my volume was cubed, but when I'm just finding one side length, that's not cubed. So 12.5 centimeters. And that's it. Again, that was your very last lesson. So now you can go on to big ideas. I have a practice test first. So go ahead and do the practice test first. That's online as well. That way you can check your answers. You can kind of see if you're getting this concept. And then once you got it, you can go on and take the test at bigideas.com. And then when you're done, yay! Congratulations, you are done. This is, like I said, your last lesson for 6th grade. So I hope you've learned lots this year and hope you're prepared for 7th grade. And I'll be on next week with some final thoughts. But have a great week, guys. Good luck on that test. Make it a good one. It's your last one.